everyone. Welcome to the webinar called From Idea to Impact, a guide to crafting and publishing exceptional articles. The webinar is organized by IEEE PES Region 8, and our guest today is Engineer Ahmed Gamaleldin Ahmed Ismail. Hello, Ahmed.
Hello, Ainur. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you very much for your initiative on the subject of the webinar, and I welcome you in our webinar today. And if you can briefly tell us about yourself, and then the stage is yours, you can continue with the webinar.
Thanks, Ainur. I'm going to give you a brief about my biography. I received the PSc on 2002 and the postgraduate diploma on 2007. Degree in electrical engineering from Cairo University, Egypt. Master's degree from Al Azhar University. PhD candidate and accredited from the USGBC, which is the United States Green Building Council, with LEED GA. And certified from PMI with risk management professional and project management professional PMP, with a professional diploma studies in contracts and claims planning and risk in construction management from the American University in Cairo since 2003. Has several published researches in Elsevier, Al Azhar Conference, and other conferences as King Abdulaziz University in Jeddah, KSA, First Conference, and several volunteer services such as, but not limited, IEEE. I have won the second stage in the international challenge, Falling Walls. I have been working as an electrical engineer in the Egyptian Ministry of Electricity and Renewable Energy as a control engineer. Moreover, works as a consultant for the Saudi Arabian National Guard, Ministry of Interior, and other projects. I'm glad to join you. At the beginning, hi, good morning all. I'm proud to be with you today. It's a pleasure for me to join a young professional IEEE. Let me begin with special thanks for the IEEE PES Young Professional and the IEEE WIE. And sure, we are glad that Engineer Ainur support us, Engineer Ayman and Engineer Alpin. Thanks for their caring and support, their continuous following and their efforts. Let's begin with a brief about our contents, which we are going to discuss today. We are going to take a brief introduction, the guidelines, the types of our researches, and we are going to identify and select topics, learn how to make a breakdown and what's the work breakdown structure, the thesis contents and the research contents, and they are almost similar, the materials and contents, the tools and techniques. We have to break the ice and ask a question: what's the academic research? At the beginning, we have to think about what is the research, what's the main target or the goal. So the research is a systematic process of scholarly investigation. It involves exploration of new ideas, concepts, theories, or phenomena within various academic disciplines with the aim of advancing knowledge and also contributing to the existing body of scholarly work. Academic research is characterized by its rigorous methodology. Academic research plays a crucial role in expanding our understanding of various fields, also addressing gaps in knowledge and driving innovation and progress in society. Let's begin with the introduction. Uh, the introduction is going to be about uh, what's our research paper. Research paper focus on selected issue or problem. We can say it in a scientific word, which we call the gap, which we can find in another researches. It can be known also as the dilemma. Uh, يعني you have to find something and try to solve it. A specific division presenting different method in order to handle and solve this problem. This can be summarized in an abstract, overviewing the issue, then focus on specifically on your point as an introduction, reviewing the previous methods in trying to solve this issue as a literature review. You must reveal the previous researches, and to be honest, you have to discuss the positive effects and the missed or the negative effects, which we are going also to discuss as a gaps in the previous research. Methods used to solve the issue or the literature review, you have to discuss this also. Presenting your used method, which is known as methodology, in order to solve the issue, and this is very important. Moreover, preventing and overcome the previous gaps and negatives of the previous methods through case study. Clarifying the difference between our submitted research and other previous researches through out the results and discussion using graphs that presents values compared to previous ones, and this is very important. At the end, all of the previous must be indicated as what we had gained from using this methodology as conclusion. All of that must be in a scientific paper or research with references to support your research. Thus, it must be cited, which is going to be scientific research, not a Google research. We can talk here about the guidelines. The guidelines, we are going to discuss that the paper or the research is going to be as a project. And as PMI concepts, it's going to be, we can say we are going to make a breakdown for it as initiation, and then planning, and then the execution, which is going to be the writing, the party or the time you are going to collect all of your data and begin in writing, monitor and control and output. Like we say, as per, we are going to imagine that this article is our project. Thus, the PMI describe the project as phases. In order to simplify it, initiation, this step is not easy. Almost starting is not easy because it needs too much time and effort to begin. In our case, it is the preparation. This is to select the most proper topic. And this is very important, to select the most proper topic. To find this easy, you must identify your target, your goal, as we discussed in the previous slide. Thus, to be direct to the point, you have to choose specific issue. You have to prepare your proposed methodology in order to use in solving the dilemma. Put a framework not to exceed. At the end, you can select the title. This is the most important part. Plan, or we can say schedule, using work breakdown structure. In order to make plan for your research, you need to make work breakdown structure. Thus, it's going to help you in order of handling your point. My advice is to read, and read as much as you can. Read too much papers, too much researches and articles, manuscripts, whatever, but you have to read theses. You have to read as much as possible. This will help you in preparing scratches, This is going to help you in dividing your article into parts. Writing is the next stage or the next phase, which is you are going to begin in executing your project or writing your ideas on the paper. And we are going to learn how to make the breakdown structure of the article. You have to write detailed inputs, especially the structure, which we are going to learn how to divide it to parts or sections, as it is going to be shown in the next slides. Monitor and control, it's very important part, and it's the almost you are going to find this part is very interesting, and it's going to refine your paper using tools and techniques in order to check the quality of your research. Tools here means the programs or the softwares that can be used to facilitate our tasks. Tools is the crucial order to recheck the grammar, spelling, paraphrasing, punctuation, and this is very important. And the last but not least, the outputs. This is the paper itself, and when you finalize it, you are ready to make submission for the suitable journal. And take care from this, you have to make it for the suitable journal. And please take care from the word suitable, because you must select the proper journal in order to save time, instead of sending the article to a non-specific journal, which will reject and return to resend for another journal after spending too much time. And this we can say is a wasting time. Sorry. Um, okay, the types of researches, and this is also known as the types of methodologies. You can find there are several types of research, including applied research, quantitative research, qualitative research. Applied research is solving the specific problem and producing practical solution. Quantitative research is gathering numerical data and analyzing it using statistical methods. Qualitative research is exploring non-numerical data like opinions, experiences, and behaviors to understand underlying motivation. Experimental research, manipulating variables to observe cause and effect relations. Descriptive research, observing and describing a phenomena without intervening or manipulating variables. Cross-sectional research and longitudinal research, case study research. You are going to find too much methodologies, but the most important is to discuss this with your supervisor, or you have to decide this from the beginning if you are going to be responsible for this paper without a supervisor, or you are not going to be reported to your supervisor in the university. Here is the most important also question is how to identify and select topics for research. And to be honest with you, this differs from university to another, and from professor or supervisor to another. This is as per the university policy. It depends. You can find a scenario like your supervisor may propose a specific topic the college need to handle, and he will ask you to search in. Second scenario, maybe your supervisor may let you choose one topic from a specific list of selected topics they need to search in. So he is going to give you the chance to select one. The third scenario is maybe or otherwise your supervisor will ask you to select topic and submit as a proposal in order to check and depend on yourself. If the professor will agree to proceed, he will give you the acceptance to continue. At the end, you will need to introduce this in seminar. So all of this is going to be anyway, even which scenario you are going to use or is going to be proposed, you are going to make a seminar. In order to pass this seminar, to take the agreement, and as per your university policy, the acceptance depends on some factors. The importance of the research, does it worth? And this is important to ask yourself before you submit this or make a proposal. Does it worth? Is it going to differ with the community? You have to ask yourself this important question before starting. uh, if you find that it's okay, and you are يعني, trusting this, and you study it well, you are going to introduce it with a good and very good professional presentation. The material you submit to support you, your proposed research seminar um, must clarify your point uh, in order to support this point and summarize it in an abstract, as we are going to discuss in the next slide. Um, this research depends on the methodology. You have to ask yourself, is it applicable to be implemented on the real estate? Is it okay, or it is only a scientific paper, and you are not going to make it, it's not going to be useful for the community, and it's not going to be applicable to be implemented on our real status. Also, at the end, you have two important factors: the importance and the effectiveness of the research in the community. And again, you have to ask yourself, would it worth the novelty of the proposed research? And this is very important to make something new, something different. Work breakdown structure. I think that this is very important. And يعني, to be honest with you, this was the beginning. That at the beginning, the first paper for me, it was very hard. I have to be honest and say that my supervisor helped me too much in this. But at the beginning, starting, I began to break down the article into sections. The work breakdown is work breakdown structure is very important. To begin this long, interesting journey, you must identify your scope of work in order to get clear roadmap. And this is very important to make or clarify your roadmap. This roadmap must be divided to milestones. Consequently, it will be easy in assessment, and this is very important, the assessment, and even in implementation. And of course, progress will be clearly indicated when you measure your finalized milestones. Thus, you must break down the structure of the research in two parts in order to measure your progress of writing the article, to clearly know if you are ahead or behind or just on time. And this is very important, and you are going to find this in the future. Let's talk about the article contents. The article contents is the skeleton of the article. This is the headlines, the titles that you are going to put, and the subtitles, and then you are going to build on this foundation. First of all, you need the title, and we are going to talk in details about each breakdown. So we are going to say that the title, then the abstract, and this is very important part and crucial. The introduction and the methodology are going to use, the result and discussions, and the conclusion, the acknowledge at the end, and the references. We are going to describe each part clearly in the next few slides. But believe me, you need to make a breakdown at the beginning, such like this, as titles or subtitles, and after this you are going to build easily. Let's begin with the title and how to select the title. Almost all of us need to make something attractive. To shortcut this for you, the most important part is selecting a proper title. Also, from tips and tricks, the title must be attractive. in order to attract readers. You know that this is the first impression. Small and not long. The title appear and clarify the dilemma which we are going to solve, and also the used methodology in solving. Words is very important to clarify and being to be effective. At the end, title must interrelate and reveal the subject or the dilemma. Uh, it must be interconnected between paragraphs and sentences, يعني using words with similar endings in title, and this is from the tips. We call it or create a rhythmic or memorable effect known as assonance or rhythm. Like you can put in the title as a tips, innovation exploration, or innovation in nation education. This will leave a significant effect on the reader, and it's going to be easy as a title to be suitable for the academic research. It is important as it serves the first impression of your work and helps readers understand the focus of your study. Uh, you should be clear and accurate. Title should clearly reflect the main topic of your research. Avoid value or over general titles. It must contain the required keywords, and this is going also to help you that your research is going to be easily found. The next section is the abstract. Abstract is very important. Uh, you are going to find that in any research, whether it's for thesis or article, you are going to submit this article for a journal or a conference. They are only going to ask you at the first submission to send the abstract. If it's okay, they are going to ask you to send the complete article. If it's not accepted, they are going to give you the comments, or they are going to reject as it's not professional, or maybe it's not for them. يعني it's not specified for this journal. The abstract is concise summary of an academic research, and this is the description of the abstract. You have to know that it's a summary for your research for the paper or the article. It's typically a brief paragraph or several brief paragraphs. It provides a snapshot of the main points and findings of the study. Uh, and you have to know how to write the abstract. You have to start with the purpose as the statement. This is as to clearly state the purpose of your study and the research question, the dilemma, with impact and effects or problem you are addressing. And sure, you have to briefly explain methods. Thus, you have to mention the methods you used to gather data or conduct the research. Please highlight key findings, summarize the most important results or findings of your study. Conclude with implication, explain why your findings are significant and how they contribute to the broader field of study. The most important is keep it short. Abstracts are usually quite short, often around يعني but don't depend on this, about 150 to 250 words. To be concise and focus on the essential, it is part that summarize the whole research in few words, usually as we say that it's going to be from 150 to 250, something like this. But you have to respect the policy and read it very good of the journal, because sometimes it can reach 300, but you must recheck and review the journal policy. The importance of abstract, that many people, including researchers, professors, and students, journals, conferences, read abstracts to quickly understand if an article is relevant to their interests, if it is professional, if they are going to find it attractive, they will complete, and if not, they will leave it. And I think you are going to lose. They will decide not to complete your paper if they are not going to find the abstract interesting. Although you maybe يعني, was spending too much effort in this paper, but the abstract is very important to introduce this effort. Decision making. The publishers and conferences organizers often use abstracts to decide whether to accept a paper for publication or presentation or to reject. From the tips and tricks, citation is not allowed in abstracts. Okay, uh, you have to care about these points, and it's going to help you too much. Also, you have to know when we write the abstract, and it's the first part of the research. uh, what is the abstract, and we talk about that it's the summary that all readers, editors, reviewers will first of all read. And why we write it: you write abstract to get brief in order to take the decision, and this is the questions you have to discuss: when, what, why, and how. This part is the introduction. The introduction of an academic research paper or article is the section that sets the stage for your study. It provides the necessary background, context, and rationale for your research. What's the introduction and how to write it and why it's important? This is crucial questions, and you have to ask yourself before you begin. The introduction in the academic research is the beginning of your research paper. It's like the map that guides your readers into understanding what your study is all about. This section introduces the topic, explains why it's important, and outlines what you are going to explore. It's going to be about some few paragraphs. Begin with the background and then explanation for the dilemma, discuss the previous researches, clarify the used methodology. To summarize this, it's going to be like a cone. Begin widely and then focus on the point. Focus, it outlines the specific focus of your study, helping readers know what to expect and what you are aiming to achieve. And this is going to be at the last paragraph. In essence, the introduction is the doorway to your research paper. It's where you present your topic. Um, you highlight its importance and set a tone for the rest of your work. A well structured and engaging introduction draws readers in and prepares them for the journey through your research. Uh, this section is, I think, this is going to begin as a foundation of supportive section. It's going to support your research, and as much this section is going to be strong, as much your research is going to be strong. And this is very important. It's believe me, it's from the tips and the tricks. The literature review, also known as previous researchers review, it is a critical and comprehensive examination of the existing body of knowledge on research question. It involves systematically reviewing. It's summarize and analyze the relevant academic articles that have been published on the selected topic. Literature review is like gathering information about what others have studied and written on your selected topic before. It's important because it helps you understand what's already known, finding out what questions are still unanswered, and the questions which is not unanswered, you can work on this. This is known as also gaps. Uh, it figure out how your own research fits into the bigger picture. It's like standing on the shoulders of those who came before you to see further and make your own research stronger and more valuable. As a tips and tricks, please prevent copying from other articles. Um, please avoid taking any sentences as it is this is not ethical. To prevent this, you must read and understand, then begin to write. Anyway, you can read and make paraphrasing, and can be done by yourself or using specific software. And we can make a specific session for this, and also we can find softwares and share this on our group. Engineer Ainur is going to make a group on the WhatsApp. By the way, we can share something like this, which can help researchers in making paraphrasing and find the plagiarism. And if you find it when you are going to find the plagiarism software that is used to find the percentage of any copied paragraphs, it's going to give you the alarm. If it's exceeding, if these copied paragraphs or these sentences is exceeding the limits, try to check where is the problem in order to handle it and to prevent this, because your paper will not be accepted if it's exceeding the limits as per each university policy and each journal also. And by the way, this is not good to find any copied or duplicated or something like this. It's not ethical. The main objective of a literature review are to provide context. The literature review sets the stage by introducing the reader to the current state of knowledge and research on the topic. It helps establish the context for your own research and demonstrate your understanding of the subject historical development. Uh, I think the literature review needs to read too much. This will help you. Uh, each research can be summarized in few. If it's in article, it have to be in one sentence, not more. But if it's a thesis, it can be in 6 to 9 lines. You have to decide where are you going to use this literature review. You have to indicate how the authors handle the problem, the reason, and the used methodology and tools showing the results. Uh, it's very important, this part, and it's going to support your research. Please care about it and try to read too much. And we are going to support with something also like another session for this special. The methodology, and the methodology is also very important because this is the different method you are going to use in order to reach something or solve a specific issue. The methodology section of an academic research paper or article outlines the approach and the techniques you used to conduct your study. It explains how you gathered data, conducted experiments, or analyzed information to answer your research question. Um, we can ask what is the methodology, how to write it, and its importance. Methodology in the academic research is like the recipe you follow to conduct your research. It is the part of your paper where you explain what methods, tools, and procedures you need to collect and analyze data. This section is crucial because it shows how your study was carried out and how others can replicate your work. We talk about the types of researches, methodologies, like it's clear here. From also, there is tools and techniques used in the methodology. You can say the MATLAB, you can say the Power Factory. this is as tools and techniques. Uh, we can talk about the data analysis, the ethical consideration, validity, and reliability, importance of the methodology. And this is important to clarify the applicability, if it's capable as to clear the methodology enables other researchers to replicate your study and verify your findings. Also, the credibility, is it well defined? The methodology enhances the credibility of your research, showing that your findings are based on a rigorous process. Also, transparency, by explaining your methods, you are you're transparent about how you arrived at your conclusions, making your study more trustworthy. The guidance and also the comparison. Please avoid mistakes. Transparent methodology helps others to identify and flaws or limitations in your studies design. Method selection, and in a brief, the methodology section is the how of your research. It is where you explain the nuts and the bolts of how you collected and analyzed data. Writing a clear and detailed methodology not only ensures the integrity of your study but also enables others to build upon your work and contribute to the advancement of knowledge. The case study, and we can call it also the experimental. It is important to clarify the used methodology to prove that it's going to make us reach the goal. We are going to make something different. We are going to solve the gap. So the case study in the academic research is an in-depth and detailed examination of a specific instance, situation, or phenomena. It involves collecting and analyzing a wealth of information about a particular case to gain insights into its complexity. What a case study and how to conduct its importance. We can say that case study is like zooming in a single example to understand it deeply. It involves truly studying a real life situation, uh, or an event, organization, or individually. This research method aims to provide a comprehensive and nuanced understanding of the case's unique characteristic and context. How to conduct a case study? By selecting the case, defining the scope, gathering the data, thick description. Uh, Also, you have to make data analysis, and almost all of these must appear in the case study. Uh, the case study is an experiment that you have done using the methodology which we talked about in the previous slide, in order to appear that you success uh, in solving this issue. As to summarize this, the case study is like delving into a real life story to uncover its intricate details. It provides an opportunity to explore unique situation and gain insights that contribute to both academic knowledge and practical applications. Conducting a well-designed case study requires careful planning, data collection, and thoughtful analysis to uncover the depths of the case's characteristics and dynamics. In this section, I think you are going to finalize your research because it's not the last one, because the last one is the conclusion, but the result and discussion, believe me, it's very, very important. Results and discussion is going to make a glare uh, on what you have got from the case study or from the experiment. The result and discussion section in an academic research paper presents and interprets the findings of your study. It is where you showcase the outcomes of your research and provide an analysis of what those outcomes means in broader context. Uh, what's the results and discussion, how to approach it, and its importance. Um, it is like revealing the answers you found after conducting your study. It's where you present the data you collected and then explain those findings, suggest and how they fit into existing knowledge. Uh, you have to present the results, and as much you are going to be professional in presenting this result, as much you are going to gain the acceptance for your article. Share your findings using tables, and from my my opinion, tables and graphs is the most easy way, and it's you are simplifying all of the words and sentences and paragraphs in a a small graph. You are going to find this graph is showing you before and then after. See, this is the difference. This is what you are going to do. Here it was sharp edges. Here you make the load is smooth, little bit, as much as you can. This is this was, if you are talking about electrical load management or energy management, you are going to show that before it was like this. See, there is unbalance. Here in the night, it was approximately 105 and 175 at the day. And on the other side, another feeder was 220 and 155. So there is unbalance on both feeders. But after you use your methodology and you are showing here your success, it's balanced approximately 170, 175, and 165, 150. So you are proving that your methodology is going to success. You are showing this in a small and in brief in a graph, and this is very good methodology to present your success, to present the results, and to make a discussion. Interpret findings, analyze your results, and explain what they mean. Relate your findings to your research questions and objectives. Make a comparison with the literature review. Uh, the most important is to put some other graphs in order not only to compare between before and after, also to compare between the other used methodologies and your methodology. You are going to say previously they was using demand side management in management in the energy management. Demand side management was depending on the consumer, and this was not, see, there is sharp edges, but here we are making this by only making some transferring the loads between feeders, using the distribution companies and the operators or the smart grids. You have to show this, making comparison with literature discussion. You're discussing your results, comparing or contrasting with existing studies or theories in your field. This is very good. Addressing the hypothesis is very important. Highlight the patterns, explain implication, address the limitation, and offer insights. Uh, Provide insights into the why and how behind your results, what might be causing the observed outcomes. The importance of results and discussion, it share the discoveries, make the validation by presenting evidence and data. You validate your claims and contribute to the credibility of your work. Connecting dots, this by showing how your findings fit into the bigger picture of your fields, extending or refining existing knowledge. Understanding significance, discussing the implication of your findings helps readers understand why your research matters or why it's going to differ with them. Transparency, simulating thoughts, reflecting on methodology. To summarize this slide, the results and discussion section is where you explain the answers you found and what those answers mean. It's your opportunity to dig into the data, make sense of it, and connect your findings to the wider world of knowledge. By sharing your insights and interpretation, you contribute to the ongoing conversation in your field and help others understand the significance of your work. Results is the part that the researcher must focus on, must make it clearly different than previous. It must reveal the success of using methodology to solve the issue. The difference between research results and other previous research must be compared with professional dashboard or graphs to appear the gained values. It can clearly be appeared in the most important factors you are going to uh, focus on as a tips from my side and from my opinion. You have to focus on the time, the cost, and the quality. uh, Maybe the previous research have the same results but in more time. So gaining or eliminating the time is very important. Also maybe they are going to achieve the same results but with more expensive costs, and maybe your method is more simply and it will not cost too much. You are going to make or conserve the, the, the cost, also the quality of the results. So try to focus on these factors to appear and clarify your efforts. The last section is the conclusion and the future work. The conclusion section of an academic research paper serves as the final summary of your study. It's where you tie everything together and provide a concise overview of the key findings and their implication. And you can see here the researcher's experience, the literature review, case study findings, independent focus. Uh, it all of them have to be integrated. Tips, in my opinion, try to break down as points, and you are going to find it most يعني more easy to make it as a points, not a one paragraph with few sentences. What is the conclusion, how to approach it, and its importance. Uh, the conclusion section is like wrapping up your research story. It's where you summarize what you have discovered, discuss the significance of your findings, and suggest the potential avenues for future research. How to approach conclusion, summarize findings, make it in a briefly points, address research questions. This by revisit your research questions and explain how your findings answer them, and this is very important. Highlight the contribution, discuss the implication, reflect on hypothesis, connect to introduction, acknowledge the limitation, suggest future researches, and this is going to be also important in some researches by proposing areas that could benefit from further investigation based on the gaps or questions your study revealed. The importance of conclusion, synthesis. The conclusion section pulls together the threads of your research, offering a clear snapshot of your study outcomes. The final takeaway, also significance and competence, research impact, guidance for actions, summarize complex ideas, perspective shifts, and to summarize all of that, conclusion section is where you draw the curtain on your research journey. It's your final opportunity to highlight what you have learned, its significance, and where the field might go from here. Writing a clear and impactful conclusion section ensure that your research leaves a lasting impression on readers and contributes to the ongoing dialogue in your field. In this part, it is required to show and indicate clearly the results from the experiment case study, revealing it beside the previous research's results and to the original problem values to clarify the idea and to confirm the success of the used methodology. This part is very important because it is simply depending on values, especially if it is clearly identified with percentage from other methods. Uh, these values and this improvement has been discussed and focused in results and discussion. Thus, in order to show the spent effort in the implemented methodology. At the end, I'd like to recheck again and make as something I can call it anatomy of article, the scientific research. Also, all of researchers know this expression. It's MRAD structure, which is the abbreviation of introduction and methodology, results and discussion and conclusion. Introduction is why, methodology is how, and results is what we are going to found. Methodology is how to reach this, how to solve this dilemma. Discussion, so what we gain from this previous effort. Uh, this is the most important to know this structure and to work on this. It's going to be very easy for you. Abstract in which is going to summarize the article for the readers, as previous we discussed. Introduction, which is going to clarify why we are going to do this research. Methodology that is going to clarify how the research is going to solve the issue. Follow funnel style, starting widely, then narrowing the funnel from something from something known to something unknown, to reach the question in which the article is answering. Results, what the research found, and the methodology discussion. Is the discussion is the most important part to clearly clear the success of your research compared with previous researches. The conclusion is the last part, is the closing of your research, clarifying the final results, used the methodology. The acknowledgement, you can use it, and there is some researches we don't put it. This is for whom had supported us in our journey. Maybe it's an organization, maybe it's someone, maybe we can remove it at all. We don't want to put it. It's up to you. After all of that journey, you have to make something which is very important and is going to differ too much for you, the references and citation. References section in an academic research paper is where you list all the sources you have cited in your work. It's a crucial part of scholarly writing that provides credit to other researchers and allows readers to find and verify the information you have used. What's the reference sections, how to create it, and its importance. We can say that it is the bibliography of your research paper. It's where you list all the books, articles, websites, other sources you have mentioned in your paper. This section gives credit to others and helps readers to find the sources you have used in your research. The most important, which makes sense for your effort, is the references, which we call it citation. Citation method may be Harvard system, or a Vancouver or numeric system. The more you make citation, the most you increase your research weight. Uh, to differentiate between your article and other haphazard stories, you must depend and support your research with previous studies. The most crucial is to use new researches, and this is as a tips. And I think you are going to find reviewers and your supervisors is going to focus on this. You have to maximum 5 years ago as to يعني not to use old researches because you have to update your knowledge. You have to guarantee that your research keep all your data updated as much as you can read researches and use it in citation. You are going to make a weight for your research. The references is the use or the references is the end of the journey. You are going to use it as to support your effort, and it is the most difficult part in arranging and writing it. Previously, it was done manually, but nowadays by tools like the Mendeley and the EndNote, and we are going to discuss this in the next slides. Especially if you change something in the arrangement of the paragraphs, manually was very hard, and it takes too much effort. Now it's easy. The Mendeley is going to make all of this by only clicking the mouse. If you learn how to use the tools of researchers in sorting the preferences, in sorting the references, it will be the most easiest part, and it's going to be the best at the end. Congratulations of reaching this phase. This means you are closing your research. References section is like a trail of breadcrumbs that leads readers to the sources you have used to support your research. By providing accurate and complete references, you contribute to the integrity and transparency of your work while acknowledging the contribution of others in the academic community. There is يعني, some journals in their policy they are going to ask with a specific way to use in the citation. There is, as an example, there is IEEE, APA, MLA, Chicago, and extra. You have to ensure consistency, authors' names, the title, publication information, and there is something called DOI. DOI is the abbreviation of the Digital Object Identifier. The DOI is very important. When you are going to publish an article, if you take the DOI, if they send you the DOI, this means that your article is accepted. Congratulations, and it is like a fingerprint. Each article have a unique DOI. You can search on this article easily by the DOI. Let's return for the references importance, the credibility, avoiding plagiarism. And to avoid the plagiarism, you have to refer to the reference and to make paraphrasing and to understand before writing. I want to tell you something important, that citation and listing the reference at the end helps you to return back and to find how much effort you spend in publishing this article. The materials and contents, and I think this is going to be our last part, the materials and contents. There is very important things we have to put in our article, and it's going to support us also and make a way for the article, and it's very important. like the figures, flowchart, tables, and formulas. Figures is a visual representation like graphs or charts that help explain your data or concepts at a glance. The flowcharts, it's a diagrams that illustrate a process or sequence of steps. It's going to help readers to understand a complex workflow. The tables also organize the data and present information in a structured and easily readable format. Formulas and equation, you know that this is the mathematical expression that is going to represent and support and it's going to be something like an evidence that is going to help in following the sequence which you or the methodology which you are using, like in calculating the energy, the power of the load flow or something like this. The tools and techniques, this is very important, and these tools is going to help you, and it's going to eliminate the effort. I think if you know these elements, tools and techniques, it's going to be easy. Such as the Word and the Excel. Using the Word is not easy as much as you. Yani, previously, I was finding that, or I thought that it's very easy. But when I began to work on the researches, I found it's have some tips and tricks you have to know. It's going to make it easy to write on and to use, and it's going to introduce and present your article in a professional view. The Excel sheets is very important, and you can make a lot of dashboards and the graphs with this also. But this is not used in the researcher as a methodology. It's only going to help you. The Visio is important because you are going to build on it the flow charts and the PowerPoint, of course. There is some tools like DigiSilent in analysis. I'm talking about the electrical side because I'm working on the energy management as an electrical engineer. So using the DigiSilent, the MATLAB, and other software, you can use the Python. It's very good, and of course, we can't forget the Mendeley and the EndNote in the citation. Um, of course, the Google Scholar and its very good research engine. Uh, this software tools is very important for you, and is going to help you and be helpful. Also, from the tools and techniques, you have to use the software applications that is going to help you in revising your grammatically on the article. The punctuation is very important, which is the comma, the semicolon, and the full stop. This is very important. The paraphrasing, we talk about this, and this is to prevent the vulgarism or exceeding the limits. You have to use alternative words. See, you can't use the connecting words. It can be, for example, let's say that you are going to use consequently. You can't use it in all of the paragraphs. You can't say consequently. There is alternative word as thus. You can't use consequently and thus only. You can say as a result. So you have to find alternative words, and this is very important. At the end, the acronyms and the appendix, and this is very important to be attached. Uh, Thanks. I was glad to join you at the end. If there is any questions, I'm going to be glad يعني, to find this. But engineer Ainur told me about that there was some questions or inquiries. I tried to prepare some answers for this, like the publishing new ideas, and this. يعني, to be honest with you, this need to organize another webinar as a session of learning how to find and select a novel topics also you have to know that as it is very good idea, it is going to be hard to find too much supportive material. Um, uh, as per the we discussed how to ensure accuracy of information. This is the importance of the citation with references, ensuring it is the most updated references in order to guarantee that this is not old information and there is new data. Um, I don't know we can يعني, go on this or Engineer Ainur, there is something.
No, I think thank you very much. First of all, the presentation was great, and I think that the questions that was raised during the survey during registration process, you have addressed all of them already, because I also have several articles published in international journals, and I attend in several conferences. I see that you have highlighted the main backbone of the articles, and agree that each article is one project, and the project management approach that you the tips for project management that you gave here is really beneficial. And if our participants follow this process, their article can be really efficient and also readable. I see here, I check here while you were talking, I check here the chat box. You don't have questions highlighted here. But I want to highlight that all our participants, registrants especially, they are going to be a part of a WhatsApp group that will be more interactive, and this group will have a great impact, in my opinion, in the future for the article publication in IEEE. Like this, we can improve the level and the knowledge level, the competence, and the efforts that our members they give to the IEEE Young Professionals Power and Energy Society. So I thank you again, and that was a great presentation. And I know I don't have something to say more. And you made a great impact, Engineer Ahmed. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much, Engineer Ainur. Thanks for your support. Thanks our colleagues and members that they join us. We hope we يعني, answered the questions that they were asking about. Inshallah, God will, I think the group that Engineer Ainur is going to make it
Great.
is going to be very good, create that it's going to be very good for us and helpful. Nice to meet you and hope to see you soon, inshallah.
See you soon and have a nice day further. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.